Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Magic Hour podcast. This is Candace.
This is Simon. We're back again.
We're back at it. This is our second episode, so thank you guys for joining us. I'm very excited for today.
And me.
I'm very excited.
Last week was it was very factual. We hit everyone with the facts. We talked a lot about everything. We covered a lot of topics, actually. We really did. The full moon had just happened.
In
Are
Sagittarius.
we still in that? What's
Well,
going
now
on?
we're working our way to a new moon in Cancer. So that's not going to be happening, I think, until I want to say about the 21st, the 23rd. No, it's 23rd. I think it's at 2 degrees.
Of June?
Of June. So
Oh,
we're going to have
wow.
a new moon in Cancer. And so we'll get an opportunity to talk about it before that happens. Actually,
Yeah.
I think next week, about the time that we're having the next show, is around the new moon in
Yes,
Cancer. So
it is.
we'll give you
And
guys...
I definitely have some things that I want to talk to you about because I'm going to San Francisco that weekend of the 23rd, and there's a Cancer person who I want to talk to you
Right,
about.
okay, because this has been the back and forth. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm excited for that because
Okay.
I have a feeling next week we'll do some relationship stuff.
Yeah.
Because we have some really exciting guests that we have managed to kind of wrangle for you guys. I want to talk about being conscious, and we talked about this a little bit last month, but being conscious about spiritually what you're putting in your body, how you're treating your body. I talked about like my whole crash course in like sobriety and how
Yes.
I've been dealing with that and kind of going in and out of that, but also how I'm having to be more conscious about what I'm putting in my body because it affects my vibration. And I also hinted at kind of telling you guys I was going to focus on bringing on other spiritual practitioners who have played a role in my life, who have
Yes.
kind of just mind blown with things that I thought I knew, but I realized I had no idea. Okay. And so I'm excited because this person who I have here today, I am very fond of. We've become really great friends, but also he's constantly calling me on my shit, which is really...
You need that.
Which I need.
You need that. We all need that.
We all need that. But myself especially, because I'm very reluctant to change. And it's so easy being in a position of giving other people advice and telling other people what to do.
And that it goes for everyone. Everyone is quite... Change is a thing people don't like.
It is, but I'm just so Scorpy. And I'm particularly Scorpy today. So I don't even know where the hell... I don't know where the moon is. We'll talk about it. But so today I wanted to bring on somebody who you've never met before.
No.
Okay.
And our first ever guest.
Our first ever guest. The first of several that are going to be, I think, pretty influential and have a lot to talk about. But he specializes in... I'm reading off of my notes because very particular with how I want to introduce him. But creating balance and peace of mind, creating and balancing our spiritual journey on Mother Earth and the energy that flows of the body. I hope that was okay. That was pretty much the roundabout. But he'll give the introduction. But the person who I'm bringing on is my friend Stefan. And we'll give you guys all of his personal information for his services and a little bit about what he studies and what he practices. And I'm just excited because I know he's a direct channel. And I'll tell you about the
direct
first...
channel to where? To what? To who?
To I'm trying to think of the spiritual mother, the universal spiritual mother. This is source. This is the connection to a higher source, to a higher power, higher consciousness that is this frequency, this vibration of love. And it sounds so like, do you hear me talk like that ever? Do you hear me talk like that? Okay. Because he's really played a very interesting role in not only the relationship with myself, but what I'm eating and what I'm doing and my relationships and my family. And like I think we mesh very well because we're both Scorpios. But he has a very interesting story because I feel like myself, he had a bit of a crash course into getting on the path. And now that he's on it, it's played such a huge role in his life. And I think he has realized he has no other choice but to be a teacher and to be a healer and to be somebody who is here to kind of start working with people and helping them become more consciously co-creating in their life. And I don't know, I can't even explain it. I just get excited. And so we'll tell the story a little bit about
I am ready to be taught and I am ready to be healed.
Met, and I know that he wants to give some information about what he practices, and also I would consider it to be spiritual astrology. I would assume this is like a branch of evolutionary astrology. I could stand corrected. We'll see. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Especially
I'm
because
so ready.
I want to have like a social experiment I want to have our conversation in our chat. It may not go as long as it did last time, but I want to kind of showcase a little bit about what he does, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk about your chart a little bit. But
that would be fun.
I'm going to go ahead and bring on our special guest, Mr. Stefan Angermeyer?
Hello, Candace.
Hello.
Hi, Simon.
Hi.
I'm so excited for everybody to be meeting.
Yes,
thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
So we were talking a little bit the past couple of days because he's kind of been my lifeline through the craziness that I've been going through in my life. But we chatted a little bit about how he wants to bring a message about what he's doing and how his work works, because it's very different than I think a lot of other practitioners and a lot of other astrologers who I've spoken with. And I'm particularly interested in being able to showcase not only what you do, but how this came about, because I feel like the one thing that we kind of have in common was the resistance a little bit at first to how it came about. And my favorite thing when I first told Simon was like, he died several times and he keeps coming back.
It's the first thing I said to him today. It's like, did you die a few times?
Yes, I've had several death experiences.
So do you want to explain a little bit about how this came to about, and especially what you, in your own words, what your practice revolves around and how you view what you're doing and how you want to be able to help people on their journeys thus far?
I was very self-destructive. There was nobody on the planet more self-destructive than myself. The violence, the abuse, everything that was projected onto me was not accepted, and it was not okay. You cannot live this way. So the only way is to leave the planet. At 3 years old, I walked into a scoop shovel, and it destroyed my teeth. That's how I met Candace, was in a dentist office repairing it. 12 years old, I was run over by a farm tractor. I had tread marks on my knee and on my shoulder and my skin. I was dead for 15 minutes. There were many other times, car wrecks, intoxication, cocaine overdoses 2 times in one night.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, guys.
They called me the Lenny Bias dance. My little brother saw me and watched me. On the 3rd time I was grabbing, he took the bag from me. Yes, Simon.
I mean,
So many questions.
I have so many questions already. The very first time you died, how did you know you had died?
Because you have the intelligence. The children have the intelligence. They're still connected to Mother Earth.
So
They're
how
still
old?
connected
Remind me how old you were again.
3 years old.
You were 3 years old.
My Pluto was in the first house, conjunct my rising. As it started going down, it's 3 years and 2 months. I was just after my birthday in November. It was 2 months. It was in Indiana. He was unloading coal, my father. As he unloaded the coal, I would watch. I would see where the coal shovel went, and I went over and stood right in the path. The only reason it didn't hit here, it hit here because he pulled back.
So for those of you guys who are listening, who are beginning to get into astrology, and some of you guys might already understand this, having Pluto on your ascendant, I see that as like carrying the energy of death and transformation and destruction with you and your entire life.
Yes.
Okay, so he carries that Plutonian energy with him. That's his chart. Well, I would say your rising sign is Sag?
Leo.
Oh, it's Leo. Okay. So in theory, it should be the sun. So we can look at it as the sun is his chart ruler, his energy. But really, because Pluto sits on the ascendant on his body, he will have experiences and interaction with the other side, dying, coming back, a lot of intensity. And so I feel like that maybe perhaps took time to develop into how you're using it now. Do you remember like what happened when you died? Do you remember being sent back?
Yes.
What'd they tell you? I say they.
Whoa, who's they?
Come on,
What does
Simon.
What does it look like? See, so and right, come on.
The time with the 3 years old, I don't remember that much because it was too early. With the tractor, I remember when I was 13, I remember my dad picked me up out of the driveway and carried me and laid me in the yard. After so long, I came back and I looked up and I sat up and I said, what the fuck happened? I saw the tractor in the tree and I laid back down. All my family was around me.
Your dad carried you to the yard and
Yeah.
put you down, and you were dead,
Dead.
in his arms.
I was dead before he picked me up. The
You
tractor
were
drove over.
watching him carry you?
No.
No.
This is what I remember was when I woke up after laying in the yard,
Right.
what happened. And I said,
Okay.
I've been here before. And I closed my eyes and I left again. The things that I remember the most is when they would take me from my body to do transformation. And that's when they would put you in the circle of Council 8. There's a spiritual Council 8 that guides you to do you and keep you on your path.
And so a council of 8, to break that down, is a council of 8 spirits.
They're the master spirits.
And who are the 8 spirits?
The master spirits.
Okay.
They work right underneath the universal spiritual mother.
And they are all identical, so to speak? They're
No,
not
they
sort
all
of
have their
8
own personalities, their own people, their own souls. They're
Okay.
just in that realm of authority,
and how,
of guidance.
And who gave them that authority? How did they come to be there?
They earned it.
Okay. In a human form, and then moved
In
on?
a spirit form.
In a spirit form. Always a spirit form.
Well, you live in human form to evolve in the spirit world.
Okay.
You visit
Yes.
Mother Earth to have all the abuse, all the violence, all the vibrations of violations done to you because you have done them to someone else in a past lifetime. Otherwise, you wouldn't experience them in this lifetime. You would have that past that. You would be closer.
So would you call this karma?
No, I call it choices.
Okay. I
We
still
made a
have so many
choice. We
questions.
made a
Yeah.
choice after being violated so many times that we started violating. And once we started violating, we broke it. It's done. It's over. Now you got to repair that. You got to fix that before you can start being on your path again in this lifetime. You can choose to be the vibration of love. No matter how much vibration of violations project upon you, you can choose to be the vibration of love and still have love and honor within yourself. Whoever is doing the vibration of violations, it's not your job to create balance in their life. By you hurting someone, you become that evil. By you being in your truth, then you become your power.
And when we do kind of the evil things, the bad things, that is obviously a free will.
Yes, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
That we make.
Yes, consciously make a choice to destroy yourself or to love yourself.
So when you came back,
And yeah, I was going to circle back on that.
did they
with the
tell
Council of
you
8?
why they were sending you back, or were they just kind of like, no, not yet?
When you're in the Council of 8, you only accept the lessons. It's like I remember they held my eyes open and intensified all my self-created fears till I didn't have the fear anymore of it. Because we only limit ourselves from our self-created fears.
And so they played your fears to you?
In a video.
Like a
That's
visual.
why you say you've had karma or you've lived this before. You have. You know your whole thing. Every step of the way is intersected. Every person's intersected. How that intersection makes, it's going to happen. You can't stop it. It's just how you choose to be in that experience.
How does it feel to be around, like, say, the Council of 8? That kind of intensity is the only word I
When
could
you're
use for it.
trying
How
to
does
get
it
back home,
feel?
it's like, what the hell am I doing here? Let me go, let me go, let me go, let me go home.
You were resistant to it.
Why do you think? First of all, let me say something else first. The third time that you died, did you remember going back before the council again?
Not so much of the memories of that moment. They would show me the memories later.
Okay.
Because you download so much, it's impossible to go from this realm 3 lives, out and come back and bring all the information and retain it and use it. It's given to you as parts as you go along. It's like whatever your path is, you will be supported at the point that you need to support to achieve what you're going to achieve. It will be given there. All your choice is to be present with yourself, honor yourself, and be at that point to receive it.
Now, so my real question is, what, in your opinion, is the reason why they keep sending you back?
Because in the very beginning, there's the evil side and a spiritual side. And there's this game they play. And the evil side had an opportunity to select whoever they wanted to select to be their puppet, to be their game pawn. And the game is set up that that game pawn will lose. It's impossible, the way it's set up, that that person will win, can succeed. It's impossible. But every time they get close to the finish line, it's taken away. Do you love yourself still? Do you still honor yourself? And I was the one that was selected.
Mm-hmm.
Why they selected me? Because I carried the most shame. I was the easiest one to turn into evil.
Wow.
I chose the vibration of love.
So when was like that aha moment? And I know we've talked about it, so that way they'll have a better understanding of like the root and the foundation of what you do now to help people evolve in a similar way. But what was that aha moment that made you go, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Because I talked this time in about it a little bit about like when you have that root of, okay, this is the direction things are going now, and obviously I don't have a lot of control, and I'm living a life of feeling like although I'm conscious, I'm here to serve and to help other people and to lead by example. And I wonder if you had that moment. I think I know, but I think it's an interesting story.
There was that moment.
Okay.
I was doing work release in a county jail for 6 months for cocaine. I asked the spiritual mother, please get me away from this stuff. Well, the FBI knocked on my door. Is there a different way to do this? Always ask, because it'll be given to you. And in that time of the worst time of my life, my cousin Sarah took me to a reflexology seminar given by Mr. Robert Threadgill, Sr. This is a man that changed my life, bar none. I go in a very angry, self-destructive boy. The only reason I'm there is to get out of jail for the weekend, during the day. Positively honest. There was nowhere that I haven't tried to destroy my body. He looks at me and he says, look at that negative boy. I'm going to make him believe. If there's anything I do, I'm going to make him believe. I looked at him and I said, look at that old, wealthy, unhealthy man. What the hell is he going to teach me? He's supposed to be a health expert. Look at him. I did not know the path this man walked. All I had was self-judgment towards him. At break time, he took my feet and he showed me, and he read my body. By using my feet, he read the energy flows of my body. And he told me everything about my life.
Wow.
And I said, you didn't learn that in no damn book. I said, I want to know everything you know. And that was the moment.
Yeah. Which is so interesting.
Wow.
It's very interesting to me because we talked about it last week, and we talked about readings and how I'm like the biggest skeptic ever. And so when we met, I remember I had a bad habit of looking at all of the patients' birthdays and somehow started talking about, oh, you're a Scorpio too, and this and that. We started talking, and I think that I kind of alluded to understanding the transits and what was going on, and it developed into this relationship where we kept talking and talking about, things that are going on. He explained a little bit about the work that he does with healing and helping people by looking at their charts and helping them understand past the astrology that you look at and we apply in a way that's just very practical. I think it's more on a soul and on a spiritual level. And I'm pretty sure I said this, but he has shown me that each planet is a vibration of love. And it's not something that you look at that's a doom or gloom situation when you would look at planets like Saturn or Pluto or things of that nature. And it's been very helpful for me because one of the first conversations we had, and I told you this outside, which is kind of funny, he looked at my chart and he said, you can't manipulate men with sex. And I was like, fuck. There was no bullshit, I guess, what was going on. And it was a really interesting conversation because that was the surface to what ultimately ended up being like, well, yeah, okay, you're right. Okay, you got me, you sold me. And it just kind of took off from there, from talking about all of my planets in Scorpio and my planets in Capricorn and looking past the fear aspect and more talking about what's going on a soul purpose, what's the evolution, why it's happening, and why I have had issues in relationships, and why I've had issues with men, and why I've had issues with my body, and all kinds of stuff, which really ended up kind of just cracking everything wide open, and you had no other choice or I've had no other choice to dig out the rot with both of my hands, which I'm still in the process of doing, but I'm doing better. So, with that being said, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
I do many things.
Whatever you do, I need you to do something here right now.
He needs some major Shaka Zulu.
I need something. I don't know. Just to get rid of the hangover. And then we can go into the other deep stuff. I don't know.
So you're wanting some kind of reading now?
Oh, no. Yeah.
Oh, no. We'll talk about his chart because they've like I said, they've never met.
No.
And so what I think what will be really interesting is just to have him interpret your chart a little bit and talk about things because he doesn't know you. So you can see how he can cut past all of the surface astrology bullshit and really, I mean, I would almost consider you like a soul mediator. I have to be really honest. Like that's the best way that I can describe what he does because he will not allow you to be in your own way. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So stop manipulating men with sex.
My attempt is what I do is to find balance within my body. The spiritual body, the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and the sexual body. The 5 bodies must be in alignment in order for us to calm enough, to be quiet enough for us to hear the information that we're meant to have to balance ourselves and to be strong, to do what we've come to Earth to do.
And is every human being on this planet, are we all here with the capabilities to do that for ourselves if we really want to do that, to hear that?
Only the people with red blood.
Wow.
If you have red blood, you can do it. If you don't have red blood, it probably won't happen.
So we all have that ability.
It's a choice.
Okay.
I do this with self-awareness.
Yeah.
I call it self-doing awareness. What do you do for yourself? What are your choices? What do we feed ourselves? What do we feed ourselves spiritually? How many times do we have negative patterns run around our mind? Continually negative patterns. Did we create those patterns or were we repeating them from someone else? Wow. What's the source of that pattern? It's not from your little soul came in on this earth. I do it with nutrition. Every item has a vibration. Every person has a vibration. Every planet in the Father's sky has a special vibration. Those vibrations are here to help us balance, to give us support for our spiritual growth. When you're not doing it, something's going to wake you up. There has to be something to wake you up. A slap on the face, a kick in the butt, a bellyache, a pain that is so severe that you must make a choice. The nutrition can balance the body. The proper nutrition given in the proper way will balance and feed the body to where all the endocrine gland systems work. The liver is the most important part. The liver has to function in balance for everything to work. Number 1, you drink sodas, you drink coffee, you eat anything out of a plastic bag or pre-made item, you're destroying your body. In plastic, it's a contaminant. It's a mental mind flush. The only thing you got to do is stick the rest of your body in the water and let it go down. Then you can be cleansed and start a new program. It's about right now, it's about Saturn and Neptune and Uranus and all the Jupiters, all the planets going through right now, supporting us to change. We all conflicted with what's going outside on the world, all the wars, all the greed, all the hate. What about what's going on the inside? How much war and greed and hate do we have for ourselves?
We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
It was literally us talking about the transits and what's going on with all of this stuff in the world and how it's just a reflection of what's going on internally.
Yeah.
So every day I have a choice. When I go through something very difficult emotionally, do I choose to drink another beer? I used to live on vodka. Someone said, why'd you drink so much vodka? I said it was the fastest thing to destroy the liver.
To talk about the liver, and I apologize if this is a stupid question.
No, they're stupid.
In terms of it being the most important, that's obviously like a human body thing, but spiritually, like, do we have like a spiritual organ, I guess is what I'm asking, aside from the heart?
The spiritual body.
Like just all of it? Like
It's the
is
spiritual energy. Your spiritual energy goes and extends out away from your body.
Aura.
That's why you can feel people walking up behind you when you don't know they're there. That's why you can feel the animal or the bird watching you, you don't know they're there. That's when you're more awake to hear it and to see it and to feel it. Yes. That's the spiritual body I'm talking about.
Okay. Wow.
So,
I
that's...
thought that was a silly question.
And I work with reflexology, because reflexology, there's points in the hands and the feet. There's points all over the body. But there's every organ, gland, and cellular tissue, every nerve has a reflex point in the hand. The left hand is the left side of the body, and the left foot's the left side of the body. The right foot, right hand, right side of the body. Everyone has a point. If there's a location here that's hurting or painful, you have a block in the same place in your body that you're not aware of. You're aware of it, you choose to ignore it. You choose to stop listening to it, because it's some emotional pain there that we don't want to deal with. And once again, Saturn, all these planets are out here bringing that emotional deal up to change so that we stop that pattern of self-destruction.
By the way, he is another one of the Saturn, Uranus, Neptune conjunctions in Capricorn.
Capricorn, wonderful.
Yeah, so he's another one, and so I think that's, and he also has all of that going on in his fourth house with myself.
It's all about changing the pattern so that we don't carry the guilt that someone else projects upon us, that they want us to be, so that they have control of us. Once you can be that little boy inside of you, that little girl, the balance of the male and female. A balanced male has 3 balanced males and 1 female. A balanced woman has 3 balanced females and 1 male. How that connects then, doesn't it? That's in each person. So when that person is balanced, that spiritual body connects with another balanced spiritual body, and you have magic love. You're creating love. It's that simple. It cannot be with it out of balance. Everyone's trying to do what someone else pleases so they can get love when there's no love receiving from anybody. It's just manipulation and control, a game. When you keep in that game, then the masters up here have control of you.
So how do you go about taking a look at a chart and being able to pull the consciousness of the chart and being able to know how to better guide them in terms of their daily routine or their diet or any other various forms of their life to kind of course correct? Because I look at it as you do that to get them more in aligned with their spiritual path so they can do what they came here to do. And we're not creating situations where we're having to reincarnate and come back and have to repeat those same lessons. So how do you pull that consciousness out of a chart?
I want to say it's a gift. I want to say I channel.
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot from Indiana. I'm II. They've given me an award. It's very exclusive. Very few people have received it. After not being able to leave the planet so many times, and a spiritual mother hold me in her arms and say, "What's the problem?" Well, where's the rewards? Where's the rewards? Why? All I get's hard lessons. She says, the hard lessons are your rewards.
You have to teach through experience.
Because we came to Earth to have experiences, to make a choice to see if we're that vibration of violence or that vibration of love. So the experience of the hard lesson is the blessing. It took a long time for me to understand that. But the last time, and after that, I still tried to leave the planet several times. It's still accepting. It's still where are the people at? Where are the people waking up? Where's anybody waking up at? Well, there's a lot of people waking up. They're just scared. They don't have the information to walk forward. And once you have that and you start creating that, and it starts with the women. It starts with a female energy.
Do you feel like this has anything to do with us coming back into the age of Aquarius? Do you not believe in that? Do you believe in that?
I think it has a lot to do with all the feminine planets lining up to support the balance, to support the change of the violence of the wars to bring more peace in, more understanding in.
Mm-hmm.
The male energy, Mars, it likes to go out and destroy. I'm stronger than you. I'm bigger than you. Watch. I will kill you and take your possessions. I am the master, superior self-chosen evil being. I will take everything from you. Watch this. Boom, boom. See, I am.
And man's been doing a pretty good job at that.
Well, what's going to stop? What's going to stop? When are the women that cry from their babies being dead? When's that going to stop? It's going to stop when the females grow enough to where they're strong enough to where the man has to look in the mirror and say, the evil person, whatever it's a man, woman, child, the evil being in themselves have to look in the mirror and say, enough is enough. I choose to promote love. I choose to promote peace. I want to have a place safe for everyone to play, dance, and sing.
Well, a lot of that is women stepping up and taking their place as women and choosing to go about utilizing their feminine energy in a different way. And I think that in some ways we are seeing that women are becoming more conscious and aware of that. And I'm seeing it a lot in communities where women are starting to come together and they're seeing the power of being able to work together versus against each other. But also, I think so much about being the divine feminine is being compassionate. And that's what I'm starting to see, is that the only way this is going to change is through compassion and it's through unconditional love. And I think that that's still something that's a very big hurdle to jump. We're getting there. I also feel like people are waking up and becoming more conscious. I think, call it the planets, call it because we're running out of time. What would you consider?
Are we running out of time? Like, you can
There
say...
is never a time limit.
Okay.
It's a choice.
We're not. Because it just feels like everything's getting so much quicker and faster, and we just are just constantly moving, and it feels like we are running out of time, and things are changing so dramatically.
Okay, if you want to look at it that way, like you can say you're running out of time, because the longer you take not to correct and make a change of self-destruction, the longer it's going to take to repair that change. So the more you destruct yourself, the more it's going to take to correct that self-destruction. So you're running out of time of choosing to accept your own self-love instead of choosing yourself to keep destroying yourself. There will be plenty of time for you to continue with both. That's only a self-created fear of the masters that want to control you. In yourself, you can look more balanced now. You're more calm. You know it's a truth. There's no pressure. There's not saying you're going to have to do it tomorrow or today unless you have to go to the bathroom. I would suggest doing that several times a day.
So what are some of the, because I talk about like vibrational flu, and you have to understand, like, I'm talking to a lot of people who are more so at intermediate levels and like entry levels to spirituality. But what are some symptoms, some things that are happening that people may be experiencing, that's a shift going on with their consciousness where they're starting to wake up?
With food, they're starting to become aware. When you eat something over and over and your body gets sick,
okay, like
and
Taco
you keep eating it, you're going to keep getting sicker. Well, they're finally realizing that ice cream is really not a good thing to eat. All the sugars, all the processed chemicals is not really a good thing, because the body will fill up. It will get to a point where it's completely full and there's nothing left to put in it. And then they're going to start calling it congestions. What kind of congestion you got? Oh, I got liver oh, it's cancer, they call it. Cancer is only a polluted body. Then they feed you drugs and they have you there, so you feel totally out of balance. You feel totally powerless. Well, stop putting the poisons in your body. You know what they are. That potato chip you just keep eating at the party and you can't fill up enough on. I had them. There is not an addiction that this Scorpio, Pluto, square the sun did not take to extremes just to understand how it can destroy the body. I've got pictures when I was 240 pounds. Eat myself, drink myself. I was at 2.4 all the time.
Yeah.
They took me to the hospital from a job site. I was 2.8.
Okay. And that's definitely something people are generally...
And I would put it in people's faces. This is what you're doing to yourself.
Yeah.
They would only shame me because they were only shaming themselves.
So how do you go about relaying what you get from the chart and helping people re-establish or rework their lifestyle, their thoughts, their relationships, their relationship with food, to be able to come to this place where they can be the best fully functional version of themselves?
Everyone has the knowledge of what they're here to do. They're at a point in time when they know there's another step, so they've asked for help.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at a chart, I can tune in where that person's wanting to help, what house is the most focused, what's in that house. Every house has something in it that it qualifies for. You go through an experience in each house differently, so you evolve around the clock. When you focus on what that house is and how it's connected to others, you know what that soul came here to do. It's very simple. This is the issues that you're working on. And I talk to them for 5 minutes. They tell me everything I need to know.
Yeah.
Because people want to tell you about themselves. Look at Facebook. Look at all these things. They cannot get enough of themselves trying to find answers. Throw the damn things away. Shut them off. They're poison to your mind.
If it was not for what I'm doing, I really don't think I'd have social media. I have to be really honest.
I think, I mean, just to be really honest, I think I have it because I think I have to have it. I feel like
when
I
you
have
got
to
a
have
neck
it.
problem from doing this all day long, you got a problem. It ain't about finding information what you got to say. You got a problem. It's insecurity and too damn much sugar. It's making you go nuts.
Well, and it's the endorphins. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to, be popular. Everybody wants a like or a comment or some kind of appreciation.
So
but
everyone wants to have insecurities.
yeah, and it's diminishing our relationships with people one-on-one and also with ourselves. I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's really a sad thing when you make plans with somebody and then when it comes time to hanging out and then one or both parties cancel and then you do this like happy dance. It's like, oh, I didn't want to interact with that person anyway. I'm going to scroll through my phone. We're losing the human connection, but I think that that's really a reflection of we don't have a connection to ourselves.
Correct.
And is that a sign of the times? So we're in Aquarius right now, which I know to be the technological kind of thing. That's like as deep as I go with my magic skills, but I know that. So is that a sign of the times, or is there someone making this happen for the worst, the good, evil
I got
thing?
a better feeling on the second one. It's about control.
Okay.
And yes, it does make everything easy. Everybody's on their...
And so that is
How
a
many
conscious
times-
thing that someone is doing.
making it happen so that they can put that situation where they know everything. The computer now, I don't do computers that much, so I'm blown away at it. Candace at me for doing it more so I can get out to people. I still sense there's another way because you got the camera and I'm on camera. The computer to me, when I'm starting to type, it starts telling me my next word I'm going to have.
Yeah.
It does.
Now,
It does.
the computer
And then
has
we
a
just
hard
press
time
the
with
button
me
and we don't
because
even write words.
I change it. They had a hard time understanding what my next word is.
And then what is it? And I feel like we're getting into the realms of conspiracy theory now, or
Bring it.
or what people call conspiracy
It's
theory.
about
but-
reality. I don't know how you spell conspiracy, but it's
Okay.
reality.
Look, I'm
Okay, but
I'm
if
down.
if technology is a consciousness in itself, if you look at the internet and everything that has come from the internet and all the vast ways that we have become connected or disconnected, is that not also a reflection of more or less what he's talking about, the good and the evil? All of us have gone into an internet K-hole and gone way too far in the internet and seen some really fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
But we also see these amazing things where you can have connection to spiritual teachers and all kinds of people from all over that we would not connect with. So really it's a matter of, are we going to allow, and this is a longer transit, I consider this more or less like at some point Pluto going into Aquarius, at some point Saturn going into Aquarius, and technology and artificial intelligence taking over. Are we going to make the choice to disconnect and have the human experience and have relationships and communicate and not pick up a phone and instead go to somebody's house and have a conversation? Or are we going to allow this to evolve into something that's really going to completely disconnect ourselves all entirely? I mean, it can have light and dark aspects, I think, to technology, but I think that if we allow it to continue to run its course, it's going to ruin us.
And I guess what I'm asking, and maybe again it's a silly question, is that the guys at Apple, I probably shouldn't have said a brand, but the guys at these huge technology companies that are designing these things that, as a human being, is a sign of them being so smart and so innovative. Are they being fed something to do that, or are they doing it with an evil intent? Do you know what I'm trying to ask?
Yes.
I don't even know what you know. It's that sort of thing as because we view that as these are really smart, intelligent people who are showing how amazing human beings can be. And I guess, are they inherently evil people, or are they being fed something they're not even aware of?
The intent
God,
in the beginning was a person that had this genius idea and genius capabilities of creating something for mankind to help them with technology to make things simpler and easy. Then the world power people that found, okay, we can control people with this, we'll control the masses with this, now we're going to do that. So when they take these people, you got a choice. They give you a choice. You can do this or you can do this. Or we're going to do this. Money, power, they all got. Where's their peace of mind? What are they creating? What is in the next lifetime for them? What are they creating their next choice are? That's the balance, because we all are computers. Candace will say, I was just going to call you. I know. And I've already called her ahead of time.
Beep, 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 beep.
We all can connect to the computer. That's what I do with energy flow readings, is connect with a computer. What does your physical body need? What does your mind need? That's what I do when I do the readings. I connect with the person and download what they need to be here right now to make that shift that they're asking for to continue progressing in their life. When we use that internal computer, just like the original people in Australia, the Aborigine, they can be 20 miles away. Communicate, no problem. How do the birds communicate with me? They listen, they hear you. How do the plants? Everything has a communication. When do we get connected to Mother Earth? When do we choose that communication instead of the communication that causes us self-destruction because we just got hit twice on social media? Oh man, do I have a zit on my nose? Oh no! How can I love myself? No one likes me on social media.
And I guess this kind of circles back to what we talked about last week, is that the all or nothing. In order to really kind of find your best purpose, we just have to give it up, or can we find a balance?
The balance is the balance. It's about a choice. When you make a choice for yourself, when you choose to make a choice for yourself and accept responsibility for that choice, you're doing it because you're having an experience. You're taking responsibility for that choice. Then you can move forward. When you're doing it because it's a pattern and someone else is telling you to do it, or you're doing it because someone else might like you, that's no production. You can do that all your life and stay in that pattern. When are you going to have the strength to stop and say, no, that's not my choice. I choose this choice. I choose this choice because it balances with me. When I go to a medical and they want to perform a surgery or something on me, and the destruction of that and the chemicals are put in my body is far worse to me than anything beneficial from what's going to happen, and when they don't know what's going on to begin with. That's what they tell me. We got to find out what needs. We have to do this procedure. Yeah. Well, I don't want that procedure, because that procedure is going to put me back to where I was before, and then I have to come forward to balance my body. No, we'll see what happens with my way this time. It's educating. It's with the medical people and all their technology. Why does everything they create cause out of balance, cause some congestion in the body? Why is it that they make something that will balance the body? There's only one reason. It's money. It's control. I'm 65 years old. When the medical people call me, the insurance people call me, how many drugs are you taking? We can save you money on your prescriptions. Well, I'm taking none. I do no drugs from the medical people. What's going on? Oh, okay, thank you, goodbye. That's what takes place. Look at the core of where it starts. Look at the core of your pain. What is the source of your pain? Go to the source. Start from there. Don't go out here and think about it and dance. What's the core? Go to the core and start.
And like I was telling Simon, so much of, I consider almost like your planetary placement, your chart is a reflection of your contract and your agreement and what you have entered into and how it will manifest in the different ways it will manifest mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. So with that being said, what are a lot of, do you feel like, the ailments or the types of issues that people are coming to see you for? Is it more mental, emotional? Is it more physical?
It's pain.
Because pain is, I mean, I think pain is is a reaction, or it's something that ends up manifesting because of deep-seated emotional issues and things we don't deal with.
I was about to ask that. So basically, people are making themselves sick. People are getting sick because they are not dealing with their spiritual dues, and that is literally manifesting in their body.
Yes.
Which
it's manifesting
is
congestion.
It's something
and
that
pain.
I think I've always been, especially stress. I feel like stress is something I physically feel. So in terms of when people are then getting sick, it's they are not dealing with what they should be dealing with. And so, and I'm sure people would turn around and say, well, you know, that's not how I got cancer. I got cancer because I smoked all these cigarettes. But they smoked all those cigarettes because they're not dealing
Correct.
with... Guys, I'm getting it.
Correct.
Guys, I'm getting it.
Mind blown.
Wow.
He's drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay, so to be conservative of time, but also because I'm so interested in seeing this go on, because to me it was a very profound experience. It took several interactions for me to finally like crack and be like, okay, fine, you're right. I will acknowledge it. But are you willing to let him look at your chart?
Let's do it.
You wanna do a brief?
Yeah.
Okay, because I did pull it, guys.
Gosh.
I'm very excited for this. I think it's going to be a good thing because I know you and I can talk shit to you all day about what you're not changing.
Just relax, Simon.
I'm like freaking
We're
out.
on TV.
Suddenly.
I gotta be good.
Suddenly, I'm like, ah. I go for a lot of readings. It is.
I know that you like the printed ones, but I hope that this is okay. So just so you know, because you've seen my software.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a 10-degree Virgo rising. His sun, I hope this is right. It's actually at 4 degrees of Aries, so it sits on my descendant. That's what it was. His sun is at 4 degrees of Aries. His moon is at 28 degrees of Gemini. I want to open up my mouth about that, but I'll let him do it. So this is his chart, and you can actually zoom in so you can take a look.
Okay, leave it right there. That'd be good.
How's that Saturn-Moon opposition?
This one.
That's the same thing that kind of like what Trump is dealing with right now, although it's his sun, but he's dealing with a Saturn opposition to Gemini. Very interesting. It's rough.
Well, with all the things that you have, the moon, Chiron, midheaven, all the stuff in the... Oh, what happened?
I'm getting a Skype call because I'm super important.
In the 11th or the 10th house is business. It's how people see you. It's how you present yourself to the people, the public. With Gemini, it's about communication. So with Gemini, my experience with Gemini is Gemini can use it to manipulate, to use it to do anything they want to do for their own purpose. And the spiritual part of Gemini is to share information. And it's in the 10th house with Chiron and the moon, so it has a lot to do with the emotional healing in business and communication in business. How are you going to communicate what you feel and how you heal that to the public? How are they going to see that? So you take the 10th house and you go down here to the 4th house, and you have Uranus and Saturn and Neptune all kind of in Capricorn together, which it's not an opposition.
It's tough.
It's a 150, but it's not a 150. It's support for you in your home, where Uranus is sudden changes. It's a 0 degrees Capricorn. So that episode that happened back in 2012 with 0 degrees of everything, that was the right year. Everything, all the cardinal signs start at 0 degrees. So that made a big difference in your home at that time. How you felt about you, not your space of living, but you, your home, how you feel about yourself, how you want to express it to the public in communicating in Gemini. With Saturn there's a lot of structure there to build that. So you have structure, and Neptune is there, and Neptune is a very spiritual planet. It's Pisces, it's spiritual, it's the last sign. You've done a lot in your lifetimes of getting to this evolved space to where you can get in the public space to share what you feel, that can change people's hearts, that can do a lot of healing in groups, in the masses. It's how do you get that information out to where you feel safe within yourself to stand there in your truth and say, this is my truth, and speak it.
And that's, okay.
Then you got Mars at 21 degrees in Capricorn, so you just had Pluto go through your 4th house. It's in your 5th house now. So you've had a lot of changes in your home in the last few years. A lot of changes. You've changed physically yourself. You've changed emotionally how you feel about yourself. You restructured a lot of yourself. Now, Pluto's going in the 5th house, and it's going to be sitting on your Mars. It's going to be going over your Mars. And Mars is an aggressive planet, and it was friends. So you can be a leader. Mars is a leader. And in Capricorn, you can be a leader. With Uranus getting ready to do all that squaring, you can have different friends. You could deal with a lot of different people, because the squares, they're not destructive. They just help you to make it happen. They force it to happen. They give support to help it to happen. Without the squares, we would all be sitting around eating ice cream and then drinking olive oil to get rid of the pain in the stomach. It works. I did it until I decided to quit drinking olive oil and stop eating ice cream. So that's pretty much present. Where's Pluto at right now? It's 18 degrees.
At 18 degrees Capricorn.
Yeah, so I think it got up that high though, didn't it? So it touched it a little bit. So it's going to go back and it's going to touch it again and go past it. So, that'll be more stability of what you're already creating with friends.
What type of work do you think Simon should be doing, considering he's got his moon in Gemini in the 10th? And
what he's doing, communications.
What role does the relationship with his mother play in that?
Because the moon's in the 10th house, has a lot to do with it, either positively or negatively. The energy that she's putting out is forcing you to look inside yourself to do what you want to do, almost forcing you to be your own person.
Yeah.
Because that's the relationship she had with you in her contract. That's the way she gives love.
So do you think that a lot of the relationship he's had with his mom up until this point is supporting him being successful in telling stories that stem from the heart? Because maybe some of the experiences that he had surrounding his mother has influenced him to want to go and find real situations with people and real emotional interactions, and want to make that front and center in the media to show emotional relationships, reality situations.
See, when you're asking me the information about his mother, my energy keeps throwing off. With Moon and Gemini,
it's a tough one. Can I tell you some background, or should I
not
do
go
that?
Ahead.
Because I'm adopted.
Mm-hmm.
So my birth mother I've never met, but my mother, adopted mother, but my mother is my mum.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of always had this feeling that I was just in the wrong womb by the choice of somebody, because the person who was my mother absolutely was. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
And she passed away 2 years ago. And so it's this sort of thing of, I don't know how it works in the spiritual realm of do I have to have been in her womb for her to really be my mother?
No.
No, okay.
No, it was a
Well,
love
good.
that love that she shared with you.
Because I'm pretty sure I picked her, or she picked me some way, somehow. Because she was my, you know?
Oh, I know. I think when I looked at your chart, excuse me, when I saw the moon Chiron, it's like I know that the story with you and your mom has become this evolving thing where she's still very much involved in your life, and you acknowledge that energetically she's still around. But I think that because, like me, you had a very unusual upbringing, and I think that your mom has potentially helped you see through her death that, okay, I have to go out there and I have to share the story of what I've experienced. And I think it also still influences you and guides you to want to talk about human interaction, about emotions. And that's why he's in reality TV. That's what he does a lot of. And so I think that that plays a huge role on showing raw human emotion and very different relationships, the different levels of relationships, be that family or romantic or professional, and wanting to highlight that and talk about it. And so I think that that has played a huge role, whether or not she was your real mom. To me, it doesn't matter. No. I just wanted your
Well, it's never sort of mattered to me, but then I guess when you really look at a chart and you talk about it, I feel like that's something I should bring up, you know, because I don't know how it...
A lot of that plays in with the contracts we have, because she might have been your real mother in past lifetimes, and she might have gave you up, or something happened where the connection was broken. This lifetime, she was able to take your soul and give the love that she was able in last lifetime.
Because our relationship was absolute, you know?
Yeah.
So
it was true clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, because something else that stands out to me is you have Pluto and Scorpio in the third house. And that's the ruling sign of Scorpio is Pluto. That's transformation. And the third house is about writing. Short travel is different, brothers and sisters, things like that, but I focus it more to be writing. And it's a house that Gemini's in with all the Gemini stuff we got in the 10th house. So there's going to have to be a lot. When you're doing your balancing and going through your balancing, I would suggest you to write down your emotions, write down what you go through on every realm of the sexual body and how it connects to the other bodies, because that can be very useful information in 10th house to assist people in transforming and becoming a person of loving themselves, of self-honor, self-respect. I believe that. That's Scorpio, that's transformation.
Which is going to play a huge role going into this next year when Jupiter goes into Scorpio and Saturn goes into Capricorn.
Yes.
Because it's going to sextile, so it's going to support. And that can also, I still think that can come out in a way of taking life experiences and writing it down and putting it together and evolving. But that could be creative stuff you end up writing, personal sexual experiences, things that you have, transformations, how you see yourself evolve through your writing and how it plays into your going on into your 5th house, the people that you meet and the things that you create, whether they're fact or fiction, whether it's just to help people evolve or creative things that you develop, it will help you connect to your moon in the 10th house and being able to talk about these situations. And it could play out in reality, it could play out in something that's scripted, it could play out in so many different ways, because we've talked about this, what's going on with Saturn and how it's going to play a huge role in, I think, our career stuff.
And then you have Jupiter in Taurus in the 9th house. Jupiter is in its natural 9th house. There.
He travels a lot.
Pardon?
He travels a lot.
Yeah, but it's also teaching. It's higher education, spirituality. And Taurus is about food.
Okay. And the extremes, which I think most people are.
Well, that's
there was
Pluto
certainly a period.
Scorpio.
There was certainly a period of time in my life where I was very good, very, very good about what I ate and exercising, and I can't find the balance. I'm either that, or I'm the worst.
How old are you? What's your birthday?
March 24th, 1988.
19 what?
88.
88. When does Saturn return?
He's got, well, his Saturn is,
Capricorn. So
it's gonna hit
you're not
January,
you're not there
February,
yet.
March.
You're just coming up to it. That's the reason I asked, because when the Saturn comes up and connects in the fourth house of home, with Jupiter over here going through the Scorpio in third house, and natal Jupiter in Taurus, food's going to be a very, very, and you got Venus in Taurus, the ruling planet in the ninth house. It's going to be high on the list of something important for you to share with people. That's how you transform. You will come to the understanding that spiritual transformation and healing comes from what we feed our spiritual, mental, emotional, physical, and sexual bodies. Mm-hmm. And that's a transformation that you're going to write about, of how you feel about yourself, how you honor yourself.
Is there someone out there for me?
Pardon?
Is there somebody out there for me? A soulmate?
Well,
somebody.
It's funny that you asked that, because in your seventh house you got the North Node, which brings into you. But what I was saying was Mercury in Pisces.
I don't know what that means.
Mercury is communication. Mercury is communication. Mercury is a ruler of Gemini.
And Neptune's hovering around there right now. We're getting ready to have a Neptune retrograde, so it's interesting. That's why there's a lot of illusions with relationships. And am I hearing from him? Am I not hearing from him? What's going on? Where is he? So
I believe that when you say, "Am there somebody out there for me?"
Yeah, I was just being a bit needy, but I do want to
know. Yeah, there's many people out there for you. You're going to have interactions with many people. What you're wanting is a very close interaction with someone special. Well, that's where it comes into balancing yourself and having that special relationship with yourself. And then when you create that, you'll find that all of a sudden there's an intersection with that special person that's done the same thing.
So you really can't love someone until you love yourself?
You can only love someone to the point of how much you love yourself. How much you control and manipulate yourself is how much you allow that person to love you.
And if you're loving someone who's maybe not great, it could maybe be because you're not feeling so great yourself.
Yes, it's a lesson. It's a mirror.
I also see the North Node
It's a mirror. You were talking about that before.
Yeah, I see the North Node as what we have incarnated to learn to master and to, it's like our dharma. It's what we have come here to achieve, to complete. Yeah, I know. He's got an 8th house sun.
Juno?
Oh yeah, and Juno, yeah.
Juno's in Aries in 8th house.
That's your hubby.
8th house is and you got the sun there early, but at the end you got Juno. So
and Uranus.
8th house is transformation. It's a Scorpio house. You got Pluto down here in a third house of writing, communicating. You got Gemini up here. So when this all starts going, when you start doing it within yourself and you're focusing more on who I am and what I'm doing and what I'm achieving, and all of a sudden you realize I'm not even looking for that someone else. I'm really myself. At that point, that person's going to walk right up and say hi.
Well, and Uranus is right on top of your planet of marriage in the 8th house. So from a really off-the-wall spiritual perspective, you're doing all of this really intense shifting, and you might be learning about it through your sexual interactions with people and trying to figure out what you would want in a partner and how you're evolving to be able to have this partner. But also, Uranus is going to go back and forth in retrograde, back and forth for really the next year before it enters into Taurus. And so you are evolving, but you're potentially also bringing in all of these past life partners. I see the 8th house as karma. So you're bringing in past life partners who you're having sexual romantic encounters with that just makes you go mind blown, crisis situation for about 2 months, and then on to the next victim. And so it still may be that way until Saturn has gone through lower parts of the 4th house and has brought you the stability and the practicality. And I know we talked about that, but I think so much about the end of that transit in the 4th is being able to get stable enough to be able to have a relationship that you can hold on to, that you can play house, you can start to be able to build together, and you can kind of grow together rather than giving everything away on some really intense spiritual sexual connection. But it'll go back and forth for some time.
Wow. And now, completely different question.
Okay.
Maybe to wrap it up. When you look at, I'm going to use me as an example because I'm selfish, because then I want more stuff to know.
Said the Aries.
Like, as you said the Aries, as you look at me right now, like, I don't know, do you see anything around me? I know your eyes always go like
In what kind of terms?
I don't
in
know. What does an
relationship?
aura look like? What does an aura look like? What does my energy look like? What's going on right now, here today?
When I was
Aside from the
observing, watching
pins and
you,
needles I've just
I'm looking at you, and I'm watching your color change. I'm watching how you became more centered and calm. I'm watching how your body became more calm. You open up more. You're not closing up as much. You're safer.
What color am I?
And when you start creating that safe space and knowing it's safe and trusting it, there's a power that's within you that can achieve a lot. That's what I saw. That's what I was telling you about all the 10th house, the communications. You know, I don't go out here and say blah, blah, blah. This is what's achievable. You've got a solid base that you're starting out with. You're a strong individual person. So you have a good solid base. I see that it continuing. I don't see it destructing. And when it continues, it balances everything. Everything that your soul asks you to have come in. It's not the personality. It's what the soul has you evolve in so that you can grow, so that you can come to that point where you can stand in front of a crowd and be you. Let your light shine. Let your love shine. Let the words come through as a vibration of your words speak that people hear it and it transforms them.
Wow.
That's what I see. That's with you. You're a very strong individual person. You have a strong spirit. You're healthy. You're young. You're vibrant. And you're willing to learn and grow. Don't let choose not to have the experience of letting someone take that from you. Because no one can take it from you.
Do you think I have? Do you think I've done that before? When you look at me and see all
You've
of this?
taken it from someone else, or you've taken it from yourself?
Taken it from somebody else? Well, no. Are you telling me or are you asking me which one?
I was trying to clarify what your question was.
Like, I don't know now. I'm
Is there
confused.
anything that Simon needs to know about relationships?
Or in general?
Or in general?
In
You
general.
ask me a question, and I'll give the reading what I feel from the energy of my body, and it will answer the question. Just be solid to what you want to ask, and I'll give a reading for the question of what the energy flows in your body tell you. You're a computer. You know the answer. Just be bold, be safe, and look and close your eyes and get centered and ask what you wish to ask.
Sometimes I just feel like I'm fucking it all up. And I've recently felt like that so much more than I haven't felt like that. And that's a really new feeling for me. Because my whole life, I feel like I've been very lucky and I've always been super confident. And now I just don't feel like that anymore. And I don't know whether it's because I'm older and I'm getting scared or whether I'm just actually not as good of a person as I thought I was. That wasn't a question, but you know what I'm getting at.
You're as good as the actual person you have. What you're feeling right now is that you're evolving. It's like the floor's gone, and you're just free falling, and you don't have anything stable that you're used to hold on to.
So the real question is that because my mum died?
No.
Okay.
There's a lot of emotions from your mama dying. A lot. It's something that is very hard to go around. But your own confidence is something that is expanding. When you get up here with this 10,000 communication, you're going to start, well, what do I do to protect myself? What's safe? Well, that's what you're feeling. You're expanding to where, what am I doing? That's why it's important to build the base now of good, proper nutrition. The patterns and the habits that you wish to continue is to, when you're at this place right now, is to start creating those good patterns and changing the patterns that are self-destructive. Not through judgment, not through self-judgment. That's how we're programmed. It's simply, say you want to have a cigarette. Well, go have a cigarette. Well, they tell you it's going to kill you. Well, how do some people live to 102?
What I'm thinking about
Well, they're going
now.
to. How do you feel about yourself smoking a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
Am I judging myself? That's destructive. That will kill you faster than anything.
Yeah.
Am I loving myself? Do I enjoy it? Yes, yes. Okay. Oh, the taste in my mouth, this now. Okay, let's try to find something different. Maybe we'll switch. Maybe we'll do something different. I'll do another pattern. For 30 days, I'll not smoke cigarettes for 30 days. Just change a pattern. No judgment.
Yeah.
When you find yourself judging, stop, forgive yourself, and start again.
I also want to note you're going through an expansion and a contraction transit at the same time, which is like being pulled into opposite directions, because you've got Saturn that, even though it's going retrograde right now in Sag, it's opposing your moon. So it can enhance all of this moon Chiron, how you're feeling about your mom, being disconnected from your mom, how that's affecting you emotionally. And where there's an opposition, there's an opportunity. So it's highlighting something. Later in the year, Saturn is going to come back up in degrees. So it's going to be making its way to 26, 27, 28, 29 degrees of Sagittarius, which will be making a hard opposition to your sun, to your moon. But simultaneously, we have Jupiter in Libra that will be trining your moon. So I think this is showing you and bringing all of the stuff up from underneath inside of you to start talking about it, so you can shine outwardly and be very emotionally open and be okay and not feel like you have issues with your confidence and not feel like you have to hold back with your ideas and your emotions and explaining your emotions and explaining your feelings and being very open. It's giving you the stability that you need. You're going to see the end of the year, September, October, November, December, being very productive. And I think it's giving you the boost that you need right before your Saturn return. So it'll be helpful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much. And we didn't even begin to get into everything.
No.
But
How can people reach you? How can people, learn from you? Kind of.
I have an email address that we can put on, and they can call me.
Yeah.
I'm just getting started to branch out again, because I've been going through a lot of the healing processes and changes of the body and fixing the body and showing the medical department how it changes help, how nutrition helps, because that's a very powerful group of people that can be very helpful in creating balance on this earth. And I've contacted with a couple of very good ones, so there's work going, so the email is a good way, and phone.
Yeah. Okay.
And personal contact. I like to look in their eyes when I'm talking.
Fantastic.
Okay. So we'll plug all of that stuff in for you guys and give you guys all of his contact information.
Yes, we'll make sure you get that.
So you can touch base with him via phone, via email, if you're interested in getting a session, or if you're interested in talking to him a little bit about various spiritual, emotional, physical ailments, things that are going on. If you need some guidance, everything from astrological consultations to diet and nutrition, as well as healing sessions. He's amazing. He's local here in Los Angeles. He's done a lot for me. I'm still in the middle ground. I'm still working through some stuff,
Yeah, I'm sure.
but it's been really helpful. And also, we finally have an email for you guys.
Yes.
So you can reach us at
magichour.podcast@outlook.com.
Okay, so hopefully we're going to get some of these edited and out to you guys soon. So perhaps maybe some of these will be live before we even finish all of the episodes, because I want to have an email address so you guys can write to us. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Give us the subjects that you guys have an interest in. Huh?
Say goodbye.
Oh,
it's been
I
a
was going to let him
pleasure.
stay here until the end, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I gotta go to
Thank
the
you.
restroom.
Thank you. Thank you.
Amazing.
My water is coming through.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Thank you for
everybody.
being here.
Bye.
And
So what I'm going to say is, you guys have the email. You can get in touch with us and send us an email if you would like to. We're also going to be opening up the segment, if we have time in later podcasts, to be doing some readings, pulling some cards. So if you want to write to us, if you have questions, comments, topics, please send us an email,
Yeah,
and
please
Simon
do.
and I will be going through those and taking a look. And
absolutely.
we're very excited. We're going to be back in the studio actually a little bit earlier
Soon,
next
really
week,
soon,
and
next
we're
week.
going to have some
Another
new
episode
topics,
for
some
you
new
all.
guests, so stay tuned for that. And until next week, thank you guys for watching the Magic Hour podcast.
Thank you so much. Peace.